Today I'll be sharing my top 5 points that I took away from the book Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, so stay tuned. Number 1. Most of our actions are just distractions from turning inward. Turning inward is one of the most insightful and life-transforming actions to undertake in one's life, and it allows you to diverge from the realm of belief and hearsay, and instead to have no beliefs at all and to focus on direct experience. Most of our efforts are subconsciously meant to distract us from turning inward and realizing the truth of our own being. The importance of deep introspective work is summed up in the following quote in Siddhartha. It had to be found, the pristine source in one's own self. It had to be possessed. Everything else was searching, was a detour, was getting lost. Because we built up this conceptual matrix, if you want to call it that, of the foundation in our lives, if we decide to question the validity of ourselves and turn inward and focus on what's actually true within the present moment, then the ego or the sense of self won't like our efforts and will resist the pursuit of truth. And this is why there's so many distractions from turning inward. Number 2, everything exists only in the present moment. You might say, well, I know what I did yesterday, and that science can predict what will happen in the future with strong accuracy. And my response would be absolutely. I'm not discrediting history or planning for the future, but logically and experientially, the only thing that exists is the present moment. The present is the only real thing in life. Events may have happened in the past, but when they took place, they occurred in the present moment. Events will happen in the future, but they will take place in a future present moment. It seems super obvious, but it makes you realize the importance of cherishing the present moment, of really appreciating what's right in front of you, because if you live your life conceptualizing a better future or being stuck in past mistakes, then you'll never be happy. If you envision a better future in which you've accomplished something, chances are when you actually accomplish that goal, you will already have moved on to conceptualizing a better future and will create the never-ending cycle of unhappiness, which I've talked about in my previous video. So, the takeaway is just live with this in mind. Live with the fact that the present moment is all that we have and that we should cherish it. Number 3, no teaching will convey to you enlightenment. In the book, Siddhartha realized that none of the followers of the Buddha actually attained the same insights as the Buddha himself. Siddhartha realized that Buddhism may be an amazing means to end suffering in the world, but according to Siddhartha, none of the Buddhist followers achieved the level of awakening as the Buddha himself. Siddhartha said, "But to depart from all teachings and all teachers and reach my goal by myself or die." If one wants to achieve the highest levels of understanding in life, then they must learn from many teachings and not subscribe to any one ideology or teaching in specific. Because you never know that if that teaching is the right one for you. That's the power of the multiple perspective approach to knowledge and understanding. You can explore many different teachings and figure out which one fits you best, and instead of just picking the first one that you see. The 4th point, knowledge can be conveyed, but wisdom cannot. A fact, an ideology, or a belief, or beliefs can all be conveyed from one generation to the next. This is how religions grow so large, because a certain set of doctrinal beliefs are passed on from one generation to the next. But that's just that. It's a belief. It's hearsay. It's not true within your own direct experience. Wisdom, on the other hand, is harder to come by, for the mere fact that it's attained through experience and empirical insights. That's why so few people in the world are enlightened, because awakening takes thousands upon thousands of hours of dedicated work in order to break through and have a direct experience. Not many people are willing to put in that kind of work, especially there's much easier options such as subscribing to a religion or an ideology and just taking everything you hear as truth without delving into the matter for yourself. That's why wisdom is so hard to come by, because it's not passed down. One has to experience it for themselves. And the 5th and final point, searching means having a goal, whereas finding means being open and having no goal at all. One of the biggest pitfalls in spirituality is searching, telling ourselves that the insight we're looking for is somewhere in the future, but not ever expressing the possibility that we can attain direct insight during this very moment. It's important to be open to any possibility, not having some preconceived notion about what we're going to experience or about what enlightenment is, but rather to be open-minded in your inquiry about the nature of something and open to realizing whatever is true, whether you like it or not. Alright, if you guys enjoyed this video, consider checking out my Patreon page. If you become a patron, you'll earn access to all sorts of rewards, like access to my private feed, and I'll mention you at the end of all my videos. Thanks to my supporters, Stuart Carter and Angela Nelson, for making this video possible. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you've read this book, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And as always, have a mindful rest of your day.